Yeah, and I mean, even like when you were talking, it reminded me of another client that we went to a place and it was not a nice place. It wasn't a bad place, but it felt very sad. It felt very lonely and it felt very empty. And eventually, because it took a while, we worked out that something had happened in one of the incarnations of her soul, where her soul just, I mean, you were saying like souls don't have emotions and stuff, but the soul just got tired. So it wasn't like sad or whatever, it was just tired. And it just wanted this place to go where it could rest and almost atone a little bit for some of the things that it had done, even though it had realized that these things it had chosen to do. Like that's what people is difficult to understand because your soul chooses the bad as well as the good when you're incarnated. And you think, well, why would I want to experience the terrible things, right? But your soul wants that experience because it teaches it to grow and learn and to ascend higher, to move on to bigger and better and more wonderful things with this knowledge that it's learned. And so anyway, so this client was able to talk to her soul at the very soul level. So it wasn't even like a past incarnation, it was literally her soul. And talk to that and ask like, well, what happened? And we saw the past life where these things happened. And it was the soul had chosen a lot of lives in an order, even though there's not an order, where lots of bad things had happened, like terrible things, and it had done inflicted pain on other people as well. And it just kind of wanted to rest. And it was just it was so sad, but it was so incredible to experience this, where it had gone to like this resting place, like this kind of realm of this bubble that even though, as we say, all the past lives are still and all the future lives are and everything is still playing out, a part of the soul was able to just exhale and to calm and to sort of just come to terms and learn those lessons and understand everything. And it was I don't know, it was a bizarre but fascinating time that we did in her records with that.
Yes, 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 absolutely. So our soul also knows what we need. Yeah, so
Yes.
probably this woman was like kind of stressed out, maybe traumatized, maybe from the whole situations around her, from her life, whatever. I don't know her, but it's also not important. But this is what I feel
Yeah.
like when our soul, and I know this from myself, I think each of us knows that, like sometimes there is a moment, although we know we have to do so much, or actually we need to find answers or solutions, it's like we cannot move. It's like
Yeah.
we really have to go into this stillness. We just have to go into the stillness, and our soul will force us with many tricks, I always say, until we
Yeah.
understand, all right, okay, I have to calm down now. I have to sit down. I have to lay down. I have to
Yeah.
stop with everything. I even have to stop with asking and questioning and whatever. I just have to be. Here comes the
Yes.
moment how the soul is teaching us just to be. And this
Hmm.
moment is sometimes very incredible. This moment can come out from a horrible moment, from a
Hmm.
moment of sickness, from a moment of burnout, from a moment of a lost, yeah, from whatever. But this will be then the moment where we just have the feeling we cannot do anything anymore. We don't know what to do anymore. And the only thing what we can do is just to rest.
Yeah.
And in that moment, we can start actually to claim back our pure divine power consciously, because the
Yeah.
pure divine power is always there. Yeah, it's a living life force which is always there. If not, we will call it as human beings the dead, the death. Yeah, but
Mhm. Yeah.
as long we breathe, as long we are here on earth, we will have access consciously to this living life force. We can use
Yeah.
it against us because this living life force doesn't ask for what, it is there. And
Yeah.
we can also use it for us. And when we go into the stillness, there we can make the decision to use this living life force for us. Although we don't know how, but we can make the decision. And the decision is already this energy which will open for us the next door. So it sounds sad what you experience with your client, but from the other side, it was a higher wisdom which guided her to there to
Yeah.
do what was necessary to do.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I mean, when we were doing it, she was like, I don't like this. Like, and I said, oh, we can stop. She's like, no, being shown it for a reason, right? But the whole time she was saying, I don't like it. I don't want to be here. And then at the end, she still didn't like it, but she understood why her soul was doing it and what had happened, and she was able to sort of support her soul and to give it that love and to say it's okay, like you take as much time as you need here. You need to get up and leave this place at some point because you can't stay here forever. Like it's too sad here, right? Like it's too
Yes,
lonely, too isolated, and you don't deserve punishment, right? Like, I mean, it wasn't why it did it, but you don't deserve like a sort of jail time for what had happened to you. I understand that you need to rest, but it's not it's not for an or deed or something that you have done. Like you're forgiven. Like you've got nothing really to forgive anyway because it was all part of the plan. It was all part of what you were meant to do to learn and to ascend and to grow, but also it was contracts and things that you had with other souls to help them expand, to help them learn and to grow as well, which again gets into that whole realm of, well, why would I, ask another soul to be horrible to me in an incarnation? But and then you swap in another life. Like then the one that is the victim becomes the abuser in another incarnation, so that you get those experiences. And that's extremely hard to comprehend for a lot of people because you don't understand why your soul would ever want that. Because when you think of your soul, you think of this pure essence, right? This beautiful divine love. And you think, well, why would I ever want that to have pain, to have any kind of negative inflictions upon it, and it gets very, very deep. But it's all about growth. It's all about learning. And Earth School or any kind of 3D realm is extremely hard. It's only the strongest souls can come here because it's too much, and a lot of souls will come down, especially for their first incarnation, and say, well, I want this and I want that and I want to experience this and I want to learn that, and they don't realize the density of this realm. And that's when people struggle, that's when humans struggle, is because their soul has taken way too much, like in their divine plan for that life. And that's when you feel the depression, the anxiety, even suicidal thoughts and things, or actually committing suicide, is when your soul has taken on too much and you haven't realized just what it is to be human, and those emotions and things. So, I mean, it's funny when I go up into the records, your guides are there and your guides say, "Oh, you just have to do this." And you're like, I have to be sort of like the mediator between the guide and my client and say, well, you as the guide have never been human. You don't understand. It's not that easy for my client to just, you know, meditate 24 hours a day. You know, they have work, they have children, they have, you know, a life, right? And it's fascinating because I'm constantly having to remind the guides, like, it is not that simple to my client, or you can't just say, is this? Ta-da! You know, the client needs more than that. The client needs you to explain it really simply, like you're talking to a very, very small child. You need to
Yeah.
really dumb it down so that the human mind can understand what you're going on about, because it's so simple when you're up there, when you see everything, when you're connected to all the different timelines and all the different vast knowledge. It's so simple. And when you're asleep, when you dream, your soul can go off and your soul sees it all, and it's like, yeah, it's all fine. I can definitely do that tomorrow. And then you wake up in your human body and you're like, I don't have the energy, I don't have the willpower, I can't implement that simple thing because of constraints of the body and the density and the energy and life, you know, just everyday life. And then again, you go to sleep that night and then you go up and you say, oh, I can definitely do that, because as a soul, you're free, and everything's so much easier in that soul form. And yeah, I mean, it's just fascinating to me. And I so love the work that I do because I get to experience other people's timelines and soul missions and the things that each incarnation had seen and understood and learned. I get to witness that as well. And it's such an honor to be able to do that with people, to not only experience it so that I can understand things better, which I wouldn't if I was just exploring my own records, my own soul, but I get to help people discover their own stuff and to understand for themselves. And even if I know the answer, my job is to say, well, what does that mean? And try and coax it for them to understand it first. And obviously sometimes they don't. And I have to say, well, the answer is this. And then they say, oh, I understand now. But my whole job is to point them in the right directions and say, look over here. What's happening here? Like, you know, do you understand what they're trying to tell you right now, or what this really means? And a lot of the time they do. They absolutely get it. And it is beautiful because some of these people are not necessarily spiritual. They're not people that really believe in these things. And they're suddenly like, well, I don't think I'm on Earth, you know, in a past life or something. And I'm saying, because you're not. You're somewhere else. You're in another realm. You're in another existence somewhere. And they've never even heard of that, right? They never thought there was anything beyond just this one life, even. And they're now experiencing past lives in other realms, in other existences, not just on Earth. And that's mind blowing for them. It's
Mm.
just it's such a treasure trove for me to explore this and to journey with people to to get these bizarre answers that I never even would have imagined.
Yes. Yes. a big yes. Yes, so it's like from one part you are planting the seed, and from the other part you are remembering the roots. Yeah,
Yes.
so the roots are already there, but
Yeah.
the people, your clients, they need a specific word, this specific moment that they can, and this is like the seed, what you put inside. So the seed of remembering to the roots, which are already there. And yes, definitely, this is such a beautiful service, what you offer and what you live your service. Yeah, while you are just talking, I could really feel like, yes, of course you can help your clients, because you are this energy, you are inside of this energy. You didn't read a book and you say, oh, I can do this now. No, you live it. Yeah, because you feel it. You are there in the different dimensions, in the different worlds, and you are helping the people, your clients, to, yeah, not only to remember to the roots, also to remind them that we, all of us human beings here on earth, we have an incredible power,
Yes.
and this power is called the power of decision. We are able as human beings to choose, to decide which step we want to do next, which word we want to say next, which thought we allow to be next. We can make the decision if we always want to look backwards and say, oh God, I'm a victim, this happened to me and that, and I was there for 30 years. So this is
Mm.
why I don't care about talking about this issue like the way how I talk, because I think a person who had been 30 years in a victim mood, and I was nourishing being a victim by suffering and brought myself more and more into this victim mood. I victimize myself like from each second to the next second, from day to day. And I came out of this. Why? Because I made the decision to live, that I want to live, although I didn't know what life is, although I didn't know how to do the next steps. But I made the decision that I want to live, whatever it is. And here I found out that the power of decision is our biggest power, which we are carrying inside of us, and we don't have to make any grades for this or study anything. It's just a decision that we have to bring into us, what we have to choose, what we are able to say.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't an Akashic Records client, it was a massage client, but I had this client the other day, and after the treatment that he had, was telling me about like a decision that he had made, and he'd made the wrong one, and it had caused all of these health issues, right? So I then went into the sort of spiritual bit as tentatively as I could to see where he was at, because obviously everyone's got a different understanding of these things. And I was saying, well, your soul chose to have that decision, to have that choice given to you. And you had then the choice to do that or not do that. And then you go down a different path depending which choice you made. And there's no right or wrong one. Your soul wants to see which way you would go and what you then would learn from that. And he said, well, then I failed. And I said, no, you did not fail, because yes, you made the wrong decision, that you think you made the wrong decision, but then your reaction to that wrong decision has actually woken you up a bit, has made you change your lifestyle, has made you understand that you had made a wrong decision, and you're now trying to change it. I said, if you had failed, you would be dead. Like, you would have just, your soul would have just said, oh, I failed, I give up, like game over, like a video game. And you would have died, and you would have rested for a bit, and then you would have tried again in another life. Right. I said that, and that still isn't even a fail. That's just, you didn't play out how your soul had wanted you to play it out, or you hadn't tried to learn the lesson. You just gave up. You just were like, game over, I'm done. Let's do this another time. I said, the fact that you made a wrong decision in your mind, and you did something that harmed you instead of something that was good for you, your reaction afterwards, your soul is so proud of you. Your soul is like, yes, like you've changed everything. You've changed your mentality, you've changed your physical, you've changed everything. And yes, it's caused you some harm, but you're rectifying it. You're finding out how you can survive it, how you can learn from it, and how you can then teach others. And that's the other thing, like yourself, like your bad experiences, you then speak about them, and you can help people come out of those situations if they're in them, because they're hearing your survival story. They're hearing how you emerged from such a restrictive place, such a place of darkness, and you just emerged from it, right? Like that whole sort of like phoenix from the flame, or butterfly coming out, right, of the cocoon. Your part of your journey is to bring that out, and to tell them your experiences, so that people can learn that, and they can see that there's a way out, that they can see that there's a transformation waiting to happen. They just need to either find the willpower in themselves, or they need to find people that can help them bring them out of it, or teach them, or just be the support that they need. They need to find a support system, even if it's a pet or something. It doesn't need to be a person. It can be your dog. It can just need to be something to tether you to the present, to bring you back, and to give you a reason to research, or to think about what you really, really want. Do you want to give up, or do
Yeah.
you want to see what's the next thing for you now that you've learnt this lesson? Like, what light can you now bring, not only to yourself, to so many others, with your survival story, with your learning, with your wisdom?
Yes, exactly. And thank you for all your words and your wisdom. And
Thank you.
yes, what I found out is, like, every giving up is a giving in. Because when I give up,
Yes.
I give in into the new, whatever the new is. And
Yeah.
every time when I failed, I made a win as well. So,
Yeah.
and every time when I lost, I got a present as well. Because everything is about
Mhm.
growth. So we can grow in each second. And if we start to allow ourselves to go into this alignment of growing, of surrendering and growing, we don't question anymore what happens. We see what happens, we observe what happens, and we go out of I like this or I don't like this, because we feel it if we like it or if we don't like it. And we
Yeah.
need to listen to ourselves. when we do the next step, does this one feels good inside of us? I mean, beneath fear and pressing ourselves down, whatever. But it's about when we think about the result, would this be something what feels nice? Because when we think about the result and the result feels just awesome, then we should go the way. So if I want to become healthy, if I want to become successful, what is success actually? Yeah, this is another question.
Yeah.
So, but if I want to have a specific result, then I have to go into this feeling, how it would be when this result is manifested. And if this one feels great, then we can go the next step and the next step. And there won't be any failure on this way, because every step will be an experience where we can get our gifts, where we can get our answers, where we can get our next emotions and our next knowledge about ourselves. So, and here life starts to become playful, because it's not anymore this serious way of pushing myself and doing. It's about allowing, it's about accepting, it's about knowing without knowing, it's about being, even if we don't feel us anymore. It's just doing, yeah? Being the light in action without knowing what we do. So I think this is beautiful as more people allow themselves and accept themselves, their way, their steps, their words. And yeah, sometimes we do things which are just incredible. Yeah, how humans say bad. These things are bad. But when we allow ourselves to heal and forgive ourselves, then we can take this power of darkness where we had been, and we can take this power and transform it into light and bring something good into the world. And not everyone has to be like a coach, a teacher, a healer, a guru, a whatever. Mostly, it's absolutely enough when we go for the authentic being that we are, to go as the authentic being which are centered in the beauty of our divine heart. And when we surrender into the love, the unconditional, infinite divine love of our soul, of the one moment, then this energy would be enough
Yeah.
to support, to help, and to let the world grow into a better, peaceful, beautiful world.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. You just need to be kind. That's all you need to be is kind.
With yourself
Nothing
as well.
else. Yeah.
Yeah, as well with yourself, to be kind with yourself.
Yes,
Yeah, this is also
absolutely. And
very
that's what people
important.
forget,
Yeah,
right? The people that would do anything and everything for everybody else or a stranger on the street, they usually forget themselves.
yeah,
And I always try to remind people like you need to fill your cup first. When
yeah,
your cup is full, when you have all this love within you, then you can overflow that cup
yeah,
to others. If you're constantly giving, you're going to get depleted, you're going to get sick, you're going to get like burnout, you're going to be tired because
Exactly.
there's nothing left in you. But if you can just keep working on yourself and bringing just that love and that kindness into yourself, you're going to have so much of it that it just emanates out. It just becomes this aura of beauty that people are going to be attracted to, and people are going to want to be around you, and you help them just by being there, right? You don't need to do anything or say anything, just to hold that space for somebody is sometimes all you need to do. And just that heartfelt, I'm here, right? And I can be a support. And that's all a lot of people need.
Yes.
And it's just it's something that so many people forget about, especially people that are healers, are coaches, are
Mm.
doing things on the spiritual. They do forget a lot of the time that it's for them too,
Yeah.
right? They need to do this for themselves. And in my experience for myself and for other people that I know in similar modalities and things, we always forget ourselves, always. And it has to be this constant reminder of, I need this too. I need to accept the help too. I need to, allow other people to be there for me, but also I need to work on me and love me as well, and to be kind to myself as well. Like it's always that, treat others how you want them to treat you, but treating yourself how you treat others, right?
Yeah.
And it's fascinating, and the human condition or the human mentality is a fascinating thing to delve into, because it there's so much love, there's so much kindness, and there's so many people that are just good, right? For a very blanket term, they're just good people, but we forget that, and we don't really recognize that anymore in a lot of people. We're very separate. I find a lot of people are very separate and leads to quite selfishness, but in a negative way, not in that self-love way, but just a
Yeah.
they don't have that empathy so much anymore for others, and it's it's very sad, and it needs to come back around to, you know, treat yourself better, treat others better, and that's all you need to do to change the world, really. And I feel that that's coming now, because the energy is changing right now. We're going into Aquarius, the age of Aquarius, and lots of things are happening energetically, lots of things are happening astrologically, lots of things are happening within everyone's soul right now. And yes, there are some souls that have chosen to stay lower because they still have a lot of stuff that they need to deal with. And that's not they're not a bad soul or a bad person. They just have things that they still want to learn. And if, Mother Earth just, you know, vibrates higher and stuff, then there are other realms that are on the lower frequencies that they can reincarnate into and continue to learn those more 3D, 2D reality stuff. And then when they're ready, they can transfer into like the higher frequencies and get build themselves up a bit more. It's yeah, I could just talk for hours about all of this. It's so fascinating to me that there's so much that we don't understand. We can literally take a lifetime
Yeah.
or 100 lifetimes and not understand fully what it's all about.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. Maybe we need again a follow up.
Oh my gosh, yes. I could talk
I,
to you for hours.
yeah, me too. So we we should do another follow up, and then there we can talk for hours, and then we have 4 or 5 or 6 episodes for the podcast. So that would be awesome. This would be like the same what I do with another beautiful soul in German.
Yeah.
So it's like we started now to record our telephone calls, but in a Zoom we talk the same way in the Zoom like we talk on the
Yeah.
telephone. And from, yeah, like from one meeting I could make like 3 different episodes. So this
Yes,
is just cool, yeah, to share. We are about of
absolutely.
sharing. Everything is about sharing, is about remembering, is about, yeah, allowing, accepting, respecting, and loving each other, love ourselves, loving each other, and to give ourselves and others the space, the room, what we all need to show up, to be seen, that we can see ourselves, that we can listen to ourselves, and that we can share this light and wisdom that we are with the world. So this is why I'm just so grateful and happy that my ancestors told me, hey, go out and do the podcast of frequencies. I was like, okay, whatever it is. And now it came out like it's to have these beautiful talks like with you, and as well to have beautiful talks with wisdom keepers. Yeah, to that also all voices can be heard, yeah, and can be seen, not only something what you hear, you see the person, you can much more diving deeper into the energy of the person when you see and when you listen to this person. So this is just a beautiful opportunity, and I just love to have you in my podcast. This is just
Thank
a
you. I
beautiful
love being here.
connection. And yes, so just thank you for all the reminder which you brought into the field today, and thank you for all your beautiful wisdom where you let us dive in all the beauty and the love that you carry inside of you. And yeah, I would be happy to see you again in my podcast.
And
So
thank you as well for inviting me on again and for also sharing your things as well. It's so important for you to express and to tell people your story because they can then see they can see how you can get out of something so dark and so full of despair, right? And that there is a way out and they can radiate as you do and just be that completely different person, right? From who
yeah,
you were just a few years ago in the grand scheme of things, right? It is so important to share these things and thank you for sharing that with your listeners.
thank you. Thank you for your appreciation and your love. And yes, I wish to all of you so many blessings and so much love. And I'm looking forward to see you all again in a time, whenever it will be. Bye.